And we're live. There we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. As always, welcome to I was worried, actually, as you can see from the background there, I don't know how it's coming across to the camera, might actually rain. Maybe. We've got some rain coming in by the looks of it, but it is actually quite a nice morning. Slightly cold, slightly a bit windy. Hopefully it's not going to be too windy, but no, it's actually quite nice this morning. And of course we've got the obligatory morning pony as well. Dave W, good morning. Like I say, do remember to click on the like and share button. I have actually managed to remember to share it this morning as well. But hang on, we'll dodge those. Here's some ponies for you. See, this is the advantages of being early. You get to see the pony. Sarah Davis, good morning to you. Oh, hang on, can't forget this guy. Can't forget this guy. But good morning, Mike. Good morning to you. But like I say, check out click out the like and the share button. Like I say, we'll get more people in. Like I say, I'm going to be vamping a bit before we get properly started. Oh, there you go. Pseudo Pony Club, good morning to you. Oh look, we've got a foal. Oh, two foals actually. There's one, and there's the other. But yes, good morning all. Like I say, welcome to, like I say, actually quite a nice morning, although it's slightly cold, which is fine, but it is getting warmer, ever so slightly. Hopefully that will, oops, easy, there we go. We'll change a bit. And of course, you know what, as it gets warmer, less mud. But of course, the cows will have always completely churned up the mess. And I don't know again if you can see just how bad it is here, but yes, anyway, I hope you're all having a fantastic morning. I'm looking all forward to your weekends. And of course, as always, remember, 'tis not long until the local elections. So do remember to remind people to go out and vote on Thursday. And of course, remind them to take ID. So those are the two things you've got to remember. Get people out to vote and remember their ID. Because, as always, we'll be talking about turnout rate after this local election. In fact, tell you what, we'll go this way, because I haven't been this way for a while, because it's actually quite dry today, so we can go this way. So turnout rate is always very important. Paz News, good morning to you. Helen Wilkes, good morning to you. Already posted your vote, excellent. Yeah, down for that. Yeah, good morning to you. Don't have to do running rather than gym session soon. Sarah, I had a look to who my crime commissioner is. I'm definitely voting Labour. Excellent. Kath OG, good morning to you. Larry the Cat, good morning to you as well. Because turnout rate is important, especially at local elections. And I keep on bringing this up because it's worth bringing up. When you look at your local council election, like how many votes does it take to get a local councillor on your, you're winning your patch. It's sometimes it can only be a couple of hundred votes, and the turnout rate for local elections can be anywhere between 25 to 30%. That tends to be the national average. That is incredibly low, but if you get like a small swing of like 100 people to vote a different way or something like that, you can completely change the makeup and the look of your council. Of course, it's actually doing that and getting out and doing the hard graft. And as I said, one year there was the Green candidate in our area. Bless his little cotton socks, all by himself, went out and did that all by himself. So I have mad respect for him for doing that, and good on him for actually managing to achieve to come second in the race. It's no small feat to do that, and to do it all by yourself as well. It's a big impact. One Angry Pagan, good morning to you. Good morning to everyone else joining us as well. Like I say, please do come on in, sit down, hit the like, hit the share button, and of course remember to go and vote. Remember to take your ID, because we're talking turnout rates to begin with. Because I'm going to be very, very interested to see what the turnout rate for these local elections will be this year. Will they go up? Will they go down? Will they maybe remain the same? I don't know, but we'll probably find out maybe a couple of days after the elections, because they don't obviously release that information sometimes in the initial result. Sometimes it comes out after, about how many people were registered to vote and of course didn't vote, or could have voted and then didn't vote. So always very important to have a look at that and see what the turnout rate is, because as we've said before, in local elections I've seen wins of councillors win just on 300 votes, and that's it. And the turnout rate was like 26%. Where did the rest of the people not turn out to vote? And of course I had my really good chat with Josh. Actually, I do know it's about 3 hours, so pour on a brew, get your models out, do some painting while you're listening to it. But me and Josh did certainly agree on the fact that you've really got a problem of, I think it's a knowledge gap, where people just do not know or understand what it is. There we go. What it is their council does. And I think it's trying to sort of solve that gap as well. Hang on, we'll read some comments because I've missed a lot of the comments, so do apologise for that. Catho G, good morning to you. I think I've said, anyway, yes, good morning to everyone joining us as well. If I've missed you, good morning to you. Dave W, more interested in the percentage turned away due to lack of ID. That's going to be quite interesting as well. We'll see what the impact has had on the turnout, and then that could potentially feed into general election as well, of course. Larry the Cat, the Daily Fail, threatening us with a good time, claiming that Titchy will call a general election on Tuesday. They are threatening us with a good time. If that's the case, I'm gonna have to have a look into that when I get back. But yeah, that sounds like it might be fun. Because the thing is with this, and of course Rishi trying to sort of pull, or at least resist the call for a general election, is that inevitably You cannot resist it. And this has been going on for quite a while about when is there going to be a general election? Is there going to be a general election? Even Rishi Sunak cannot resist the cause for too long. And there just becomes a sheer moment of momentum where the whole thing just becomes a snowball rolling down the hill. And you just cannot resist the avalanche before too long. I think even Rishi Sunak knows and understands that. So if there is any truth to that, then that may be the case. Maybe it's an attempt to try and draw away attention from the from the local elections. Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out. Yeah, hang on. I did see some more comments. Let me just get in the shade because I can't read them. So I'm walking right into the sun and I can't see this. Can't see the screen for me. But yes, good morning to people who I missed. Good morning to Gary Arnold. Good morning to you. Ben Ridings, good morning to you as well. General election confirmation on Monday. Maybe. Maybe Tuesday we'll find out all. Maybe we'll find out. Nicholas, good morning to you. Feeling a bit left out with no local election in Scotland, but no shortage of political drama here. Oh boy, we'll be getting to talking about that in a moment, because I did a video about that on Monday, and my word, how quickly a week can go in politics. Just how quickly things can develop. Peter, good morning to you. Politics have nothing to do with morality. Can we agree with that? Maybe, maybe not. I think there's a lot of morality to do with politics, but there you go. Down for that says, yeah, don't sweat it, Nicholas. Looks like you've been catching up on the election-wise pretty quickly. Gary Arnold, good morning to you. Sarah Davis, good morning to you. Rishi, the squatting PM. Oh, absolutely. Chicken Rishi is having a big impact. Gary Arnold, Evening Standard says mid-October. That is what we've referred to as the going long strategy. But as we said before, and we've talked about this, the longer Rishi Sunak waits, it's not like things are potentially going to improve, shall we say, on his behalf. Things could always get worse. Larry the cat, the cause of the Tories, get behind the small dog. Yes, of course, referring to the days of when Boris Johnson was referred to as the big dog. We need to support the big dog. We need to save the big dog. Oh, those were indeed very heady days. The time when I would go on holiday and then I would come back and it would potentially be a completely different government. Oh, those are some interesting times indeed. Oh, but anyway, we'll finish off just talking about the local election stuff. But before we do that, good morning to everyone joining us. Like I say, please do remember to click the like and of course the share button, and of course there's links down below to help support the channel, etc, etc. You've heard me talk about all this before, but thank you very much to all the people who do help support the channel. James Harrison, Tory MP, said he had a big trip of India planned for late September, presumably before election before September. Maybe, we'll see. There's a lot of talk about this Indian trade deal. I don't think it's going to go off because, quite frankly, India isn't interested in doing trade deals. Honestly, it's just a whole of their sort of part of their national strategy. But there you go. Like I say, chances are of getting an Indian trade deal, or if we do get an Indian trade deal, it's going to be like what happened to Australia. Of, oh yeah, we'll just do this like mini trade deal, and then, you know, we'll get back together in a couple of weeks' time. You know, we'll call you. And of course, Australia's been waiting for that call for over 8 years now. India ain't picking up the call. One Angry Pagan. Remember that Sunak is a political novice. I don't know the game like he should, or thinks he does. Yeah, that is true. Probably the exact same thing happening to Hamza Yousaf up in Scotland as well. That seems to be really led to his downfall. Sarah Davis, if Rishi goes long on the Rwanda plan, is it going to backfire on him when the planes haven't taken off? I don't think it's not necessarily the planes haven't taken off. It's necessarily that, as we've said before, this just isn't a plan that can work. It's not a viable plan to really deal with the problem of small boats. It doesn't end up acting as a deterrent in this way. Gary on, can we get out of these terrible trade deals? Yes, we can. One thing is by rejoining the EU. And by joining with them. That's certainly one way out of it. Of course, to get out of the Pacific Partnership or the CTPPP, we've just got to give 6 months notice. And that's it, that we're out. So, yeah, there are ways out of it, although individual trade deals can be a lot harder to get out. So we'll see what happens. Maggie Pie, good morning to you. Yeah, the toilet paper deal. Exactly. Tories will probably be asking the refugees if they can have to fly 747. Probably. I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them. But anyway, let's finish off about the local elections. And like I said before, I think the one that really matters in this local election is, of course, the one with Ben Houchen. Because if Ben Houchen goes, then we can kickstart trying to find out just what is going on Teesside, just what is going on with that port, because it does appear that there's a lot of dodgy stuff going on up there, and it certainly needs to be looked into in a proper way. So my final message is, if you are up in Teesside or you know someone up who is in that Teesside area, please do get them to vote against Ben Houchen. It already does appear that is becoming a very central focus of the campaign, so that is good at least. So we'll see what happens there, of course, and hopefully this time next week we'll be celebrating Ben Houchen's loss. But obviously probably more than that potentially as well. Nick B, good morning to you. So on to our little main event. Trouble up north. And not just the north, we're going further up north. We're going right up north. Up to Scotland, because oh my word. Oh my word. This happened fast. So for those of you who saw my video on Monday, I made a video about Hamza Yousaf. That the SNP, or at least things in the SNP, were really not going well. Like, really not going well. You know, a lot of top officials in your party are facing, allegations of one of the biggest, political corruption scandals in sort of modern Scottish history. You've got your own leader who now has completely disassembled the Brunt House agreement, which was Nicola Sturgeon's deal with the Greens, and we'll get into that as well, why that was important in a moment. But you have had a leader who, for the longest time, really has not seemed stable. One Angry Pagan, good morning to you. Oh, super chat there. Devon and Cornwall don't have a mayor, good or a bad thing? Now, regional mayors are actually quite good. They can bring a lot of investment in and to your area. We've seen a lot of that with, of course, South Yorkshire Regional Mayorship. That's done a lot of good, really, for this region. You've seen, of course, Andy Burnham, the regional mayor for the Greater Manchester region. That's done a lot of investment, sort of bringing buses back into sort of public ownership as well. A lot of good things can be achieved by these regional mayors. What the issue sort of then becomes is, do the local councils in that region actually want one? And we are seeing an expansion of local and regional mayors. So while you might not have one yet, the chances are in your future you probably will have some form of local and regional mayor in the future. Yeah, it's kind of weird on that front. Most of you know No Justice, and No Justice keeps on talking about how, you know, Labour haven't done anything sort of socialist or anything like that. She really ignores what my own local MP, when he was regional mayor of Sheffield, did, which was introduce a cooperative working foundation organisation, which has helped set up more cooperative businesses, or businesses transition to being worker cooperatives in the Sheffield City region. It's amazing how that gets ignored. And I have posted to her about that many a time. But anyway, we'll see. Anyway, back onto where we were. So, yes, trouble in Scotland. Because, like I say, it's happened incredibly quickly. So what has caused this? What was the disagreement? You know, why has this completely fallen around to a point where next week Hamza Yousaf is now potentially facing a vote of no confidence next week, which his entire fate hangs in the balance of people who, well, let's face it, really do not like him and, well, want a bit of vengeance. And oh boy, are they going to take vengeance. And we'll get into them as well in a bit. But first of all, we're going to talk about what the Brunt House agreement was. So this was an agreement by Nicola Sturgeon with the SNP and the Scottish Greens to essentially try and go for independence, but also to agree to a lot of green sort of goals and targets to try and achieve. And to this point, two of the green SNPs got quite actually good ministerial positions given to them as part of this agreement. And a lot of people in the SNP really felt at the time that this was an agreement to try and achieve what they call the supermajority for independence. However, over time, Nicola Sturgeon never went for that independence vote because, well, conditions in Scotland really have not changed that too much when it came to sort of voting for independence. I know a lot of people would disagree, but the reality is I don't think there has been that too much change since that particular referendum. Not only that, but the SNP over the years have been, well, to not put too fine a point on it, not really that good a government. Education, something they are completely in control of. Well, they are 100% failing on this regard. You look at one of the things they did to try and improve the benefit system in Scotland. Instead of making it better, they've actually ended up making it more expensive through their sort of own meddling. And again, this was meant to improve the system, meant to make it more efficient, more cheaper. But didn't really end up going that way. And there's many such things they've been involved with. And ultimately, also being in power that long a time, parties tend to run out of steam. And in particular, problem with Sturgeon was, I think it became very obvious there was sort of this cult of personality trying to that got built around her, and that insulated them from a lot of these problems that they were having. And then this ended up leading to a lot worse problems for them, to, well, where they are now. But anyway, so that was essentially what the Brunt House Agreement was, and essentially an idea to build towards this. But over time, SNP, SMPs, and of course the sort of Holyrood membership really felt that this agreement wasn't worth it, that it wasn't really fulfilling their needs of a party, that some of these measures that they were asking for were going a bit too far. And of course, with the departure of Nicola Sturgeon, there then sort of became this thing of, well, that was Nicola's thing, and that's something that she, isn't interested in doing. Now, one of the things that came up in this leadership election was that this became sort of a three-way fight between Hamza Yousaf, Ash, I was going to call it Ash Ketchum, but it's not. Oh, thank you very much, Cavalan, for the super chat. Thank you very much. Oh yes, good morning everyone else out there as well. Good morning. Hope you like the stream. Click the share button as well. Let's get more people in. But yes, thank you very much for the super chat there. And like I say, if I have missed any questions or anything like that, I do apologise. I will try and sort of keep my eye on the chat, but it's just really sunny this morning. Oh, hang on. Craig, good morning to you. Cavalan, good morning to you. I think I've caught up with everyone there. Anyway, yes, good morning to anyone who, if I've missed you, like I say, good morning, come on in. We're just talking about the trouble that is being caused up in Scotland. Ash Regan, that's it. That's what her name was. So this was the candidate who nearly won. And she, by all accounts, is a complete religious fundamentalist. And she nearly won leadership of the party, massively against a lot of the progressive things that the SNP have done. But as I've said before, the SNP, its goal is eventually independence, and they tell everyone, if you want that, you need to put everything else to one side, because that's what we're going to go for. And as I've said before, if the SNP ever really do achieve independence, it is a party that is going to fracture very quickly once they've achieved that, because there is a lot of different push and pull factors in the SNP. And now that Nicola Sturgeon has gone, been replaced with Hamza Yousaf, who, well, honestly, after this, isn't going to, shall we say, be known probably as the best player of politics. It is now open warfare between these factions. He was elected off the back of that he was going to be the Sturgeon continuity candidate, that if you elect this guy, then this is going to be the new next Nicola Sturgeon. That's it, Kathy Forbes as well. We'll get into talking about her as well in a moment. But she was the only candidate who was really the different one. She was like, the SNP needs to go in a drastically different direction to what it is. She actually called Hamza Yousaf out a couple of times, saying, we're not re-electing Nicola Sturgeon here. We're talking about going forward, creating the future. And ironically, if you go back and have a look at some of what she was saying in the in the leadership debates and things like that, a lot of her stuff and predictions about the party have been sort of proven right. Oh, there we go. So there is certainly someone who is, shall we say, probably taking a nice sip of I told you so juice on that regard. But one of the things is that has been developing during all this and since that leadership election is the animosity between the Scottish Greens and the Tory party. Oh, Forbes religious nut job. All right, okay, so I've mixed them up. Yeah, mixed them up then. Do apologise for that. Like I said, I thought she was the one, but never mind. But yeah, she's also going to play a part later on, I suspect, in Yousaf's election. No confidence vote that's happening next week as well. But anyway, back to the story. So both these factions, both the SNP and the Greens, have been at odds. Very, very much so. And this all comes to a head where the SNPs had really been saying that, look, these green targets that we committed to under the Nicola Sturgeon, pushed by the Greens, there we go. Nope, there we go. They are not, they are not feasible. We don't think they're overly achievable, and we're not really confident that we can achieve them. So this started a massive push within the SNP to sort of ditch these goals. I think when they saw Sunak ditch some of these goals, I think Hamza Yousaf and the rest of the SNP saw that as okay, we can now ditch our goals potentially as well. So that's essentially what happened. They ditched these goals, and the Greens got quite furious about this, especially their membership in this regard, because, well, let's just say the two people who were the SNPs, according to what we've heard, were quite actually enjoying their ministerial positions, the salary, and of course the car that comes with it. So they were quite enjoying themselves. And oh, there we go. I do apologise. Hang on, I've got to try and navigate this muddy path. So I do apologise if I miss any super chats or anything like that in the chat. Like I say, I've got to try and stay upright while also trying to remember the story. Hang on, I'll wait here for a moment. Let's catch up with some of the stuff. Craig, good morning to you. Ben Ridings, I thought Yousaf appeared reasonable enough, but it seems like he's a bit of a mess. When I was pagan, I liked Hamza. I might be a Labour unionist. The SNP have done some half really good things. Oh. Here we are, Craig. So their argument was that the Tories had rendered them impossible, but they'd spent months going after Labour dropping the £28 billion on the very same basis. So yeah, I do think that's also what led to them dropping them as well. Oh, hang on. Oh, nearly lost a welly. Right, there we go. So anyway, where were we? Yes, Greens. So the Greens sort of became then very enraged about these agreements when they were dropped, and have now decided that there needed to be a vote whether they were going to continue this agreement. And this is where Hamza Yousaf's 4D chess moves sort of start to come into play. Because by the looks of it, the membership was going to vote. And you had the Green, even the Green Party leaders. You had the Green Party leaders even coming out and saying, yeah, we don't even know which way this vote's going to go. We think that, you know, we can't even predict which way it's going to go. But the way that they were looking at it was, well, that we might lose. So Hamza Yousaf, in his infinite wisdom, rather than allow this vote to go through and, you know, risk it happening, there we go, he decided he would come out and he would cancel this agreement. And bear in mind, on Monday, I was at the point of, we don't know which way this vote is going to go. The SNP seemed at that time to be waiting to see what will happen. And of course, after it, he comes out and he cancels the agreement. Now, this made a lot of people in the SNP sort of quite happy. This is one thing they've been pushing for quite a while. But this would eventually mean that the party would then be a minority government, that they were going to continue like that. And Hamza Yousaf even said that they were going to continue as a minority government. But the thing was, or at least was he wasn't expecting, was that then out of nowhere, a vote of no confidence got called. And the thing is, there has been no agreement with the Greens about any continuation of any cooperation or anything like that at all. So this has left Hamza Yousaf so absolutely vulnerable that a lot of people, there we go, that a lot of people saw this coming a mile away and realised this was their opportunity. And bear in mind, since he's taken power, Hamza Yousaf hasn't exactly been the best leader of the SNP. He's not really won himself much friends. You know, there's been different sort of factional infighting within the SNP, to the point where you get Ash Regan, who left the SNP. Oh dear, this could be quite interesting. Wish me luck, readers. Wish me luck. But she left the SNP to go join Alex Salmond's Alba Party, to which Hamza Yousaf, words which will come back to haunt him, said that it was no big loss to the SNP that she'd left. And oh boy, is those words going to come back and haunt him. Because there's three people who really hold Hamza Yousaf's fate in their hands. And first one, of course, Ash Regan. And which way do you think she's going to vote? Which way do you think she's going to vote? She was already crowing about the power that she'd have. In fact, she's actually been saying, or at least Salmond has been saying, he is talking about, oh yeah, let's sign a new Brunt House agreement, because even he is saying, this is now how much power I have. And some people up in Scotland have basically now been saying, even though Alex Salmond is not has anything to do with the SNP anymore, he is almost in a way now, because of this and the position of power he is now in, almost once again the de facto leader of the SNP. So that's one person who is absolutely going to, shall we say, vote for vengeance. The next one who comes up is another SNP MP. And what happened to him was quite interesting, because he was part of the faction, and I'm trying to remember his name now, but you'll have to forgive me on that one. I'm trying to sort of stay upright as well. I was trying to remember the story. I'm having a bit of a senior moment, as they say. I'm forgetting his name. But he had a pop at one of these Green ministers. And of course, Hamza Yousaf didn't like that. That was risking the agreement, the Brunt House agreement, as he said. And he was suspended he was suspended from the party temporarily for a while. But he was part of that faction who was like, no, we need to get rid of this agreement. It no longer suits our purposes as a party. We need to ditch the Greens. So he was constantly having a go at the deputy leader of the Greens, who was in one of these ministerial positions, and he got suspended. Now, after there was this investigation that they had, he's now been reinstated. He hates Hamza Yousaf. He hates Hamza Yousaf with a passion. So he wants him gone. So that's so far 2 potential votes for no. And bear in mind, because this is so fragile, they're in such a minority, that Hamza Yousaf needs every single vote. He needs every single vote he possibly can. And if you are in such a position like this, oh, hang on a second. Wade. Oops, a daisy. Oh my word. Oh. Hang on, I might be stuck. Oh yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh no. There we go. Oh, Jesus. We might have a problem here. Oh, there we go. Yep. Oh, that was close. That was very close there, readers. Oh dear. Oh God. Oh. This is like, how do we get from one point to another without sinking down too much into God damn these cows. I don't know if you can see this. This is a nightmare. Oh, the cows have walked along here. They've absolutely churned this into an absolute nightmare. Yeah, needless to say, I don't think we'll be coming along here anymore, at least until it's dried up a bit. I'll aim for at least some of the more dry spots. So, because I have a feeling if I go anywhere else. Right. Anyway, yes, we're through. Oh. Whew. Anyway, disaster averted. Oh, yeah, DW, the BM assault course. Christopher, good morning to you. Canadian reporting for duty. Bonjour to you. Thank you for sticking with me as I slog through the mud. Oh. Oh dear. Oh. But anyway, I've completely forgotten where we were now. Oh yes, vengeance. So that's two, of course, who have been sort of very, very outspoken and ultimately will vote against Hamza Yousaf. But then there's also Kate. I've forgotten her name now already. Like I said, I've forgotten her name now already. We've already talked about her. This is the person who came second to Hamza Yousaf. She will try to extract conditions from him as well. And this is the big thing. That's it, Kate Forbes. Thank you very much. I want to pagan. So this is the big thing, that you've got a party almost in exactly the same position as the Conservatives, all these different factions, all fighting for the things that they want, and they've got Hamza Yousaf right where they want him. And the things that we have seen before about votes of no confidence, even if Hamza Yousaf survives this vote of no confidence, you know, his political tenure, his time at the helm, his leadership chances are going to get very, very low, because if he, depending on sort of the results of the vote, is going to be the exact same position as Boris Johnson, as Theresa May. You know, he is done. And this is all because he decided that he was going to go and play this 4D chess move. And he has really just shown his, well, complete political ineptitude during all this. And now the SNP are in a worse state than they were on Monday, than when they started. So it's a very, very bad spot for them. But where they go from here, who knows? But as I saw one piece said recently, this has put any talks of independence, it has set independence back a decade. Because the big problem the SNP always had, really until, you know, Salmond and Sturgeon came along, was always the fact they were very much a party of where we've got all these different issues that we want to solve or want to do, but we're solely going to focus on independence. We are going to be a single issue, and that is going to be our thing. Everyone else, put everything to one side until we've done that, then we'll fight. And yeah, oh boy. Well, let's just say they're doing one of those things now. Oh. But yeah, where this goes, I don't know. But I think Hamza Yousaf is well and truly done. Well and truly done. I can't see him lasting, honestly, too much longer. in this regard. Oh, where am I? There we go. So yeah, I can't see him lasting too much longer. But needs to say, this whole thing is well and truly messed up the S&P. But it's gone to show and proved what I've been saying for the longest time ever, that they were that they were only united so long as they had the strong leadership. And once they've lost that, then, well, you've lost all coherency, and Hamza Yousaf was not strong enough as a leader to be able to do that. And it goes to show you how important the leadership of a party can be, of course, and about that. Because I didn't know there were any trees left in England. Oh no, there's plenty of trees left in England. There we go. Nicholas says, with Sturgeon gone, Johnson gone, and Conservative rule coming to an end, S&P support is now bound to decline. Yep. I think that is going to be the case. That is going to be the case, I think. I think you're right there, Nick. I say, I don't think, to be honest, their chances, their star that was, is going to be very, very much falling. And now remember, you've got a competing party in the Alba party that is actively probably going to be pulling away. And remember, the only reason Salmon did that was to really annoy Nicola Sturgeon, but also to try and prove that his way was the right way to, quote, achieve independence. But needless to say, all it's really done is cause sort of a massive internal civil war. It has now split that vote, and it's going to be a very, very different political atmosphere now. Very, very different. And the thing you've got to remember about the S&P is they are very, very advantageous. They did sign and go into coalition with the Conservatives back during the Blair years, or at least the Brown years, shall we say, to try and cause problems for Labour. So, the S&P, maybe it's just yet another case of the party unity wasn't as strong as they were always saying it was. Which is something I've said, and I have time and time again, whenever I've brought this up or talked about this, I've always got someone from Scotland who's like pro S&P always comes at me in sort of the comments afterwards saying, this is completely wrong, you're wrong. Turns out I was right. I was right all the time. Shock horror. Shock horror. Let's brush this bit of his mud off, at least before we go. looks like it's roundup time for the ponies. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, the cows are there. Oh. I'm gonna have to try and get through the cows now. Oh. Just after I've gotten through and stuck with the mud. Oh. Oh. Such a problem. Anyway. Pagan, wait, hold a second. I never heard that about the S&P. Yes, that is true. Not only did they do that then, they were also responsible for partnering with the Tories back in, was it 1978, 1979, which brought down that particular Labour government as well. Hence why you might have heard the word tartan Tories. That's where it comes from. In that regard. So yeah, this is one of the things that, you know, people don't really know about the S&P. They really do a lot of stuff and they try to cover their tracks in history about what they did in the past. Because, as I said before, they're just this single issue party. We want independence, and it's independence regardless of anything else. And I keep on saying it, if Scotland ever did achieve independence, the SNP would just fragment. Because all these different factions, they ain't going to stay together. They ain't going to stay together at all in this regard. Right, well, at least we should be able to get past some of these cows. They... Anyway. Morning, boys. I always find it weird how cows do that. But anyway, that was relatively easy, thankfully for that. Hopefully I wasn't having to like push them aside or anything like that. But yes, anyway, we're now coming to an end of our good morning walk. So I hope you've all enjoyed yourselves today. But we'll see where this goes, and of course, no doubt we'll be more talking about what the results were, of course, this time next week, about the local elections. And we'll see where this takes us. Ultimately, I think this result will cause a lot of Tories to panic. Two results that a lot of Tories are looking at, or at least the importance they are putting on, is the two regional mayors they've got, of Andy Street and Ben Houchen. So they're putting a lot of stock in trying to keep those two positions. So if they lose one, of course, it's going to be a bad night. If they lose both, well, that's going to be even better. And of course, as I said before, Tories do not do well when they panic. They do not make good decisions. And I think depending on how bad these go, and if it's going to be a bad night for them, it's how do they then sort of survive this going on? Gillis is clearly cacking himself. Oh, he absolutely is. No one, like, this, after this, expect there to be a vote of no confidence in Rishi Sunak. Like, I am fully on board with the fact there could very, very easily be a vote of no confidence in Rishi Sunak after these local elections. I've said it before, I'll say it again, all bets are off after this local elections, because the results, oh boy, are they going to be interesting. So, it's gotten very warm. But as always, thank you very much for joining us on this absolutely fantastic day today. No, it's gotten, the weather's actually picked up quite nice now, and I'm a bit too over, what is it, over warm now that the sun's come out. I've been walking, trying to sort of pull myself out of the mud on these occasions. But thank you very much for joining me today on today's Good Morning Walk. We'll see you next Saturday for the local election roundup. And of course, what's happened? Have there been any consequences from those results? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see what happens. It might be happen more of that weekend, but we'll see. As always, remember, if you are in the UK, go out and vote. Make sure you take your ID with you. Take every ID with you can, as much ID as you can. Going to be important. So yeah, we'll see what happens next week. But like I say, hopefully there's going to be some good news. So yeah, Larry the Cat, may the road rise with you. Excellent. Cathal OG, thanks. Good weekend. And elections week all. Exactly. So have a very good week, everyone. Go out, enjoy yourselves. As I always say, if you can't be safe, be sensible. And as always, we'll see you next week for an election roundup of the chaos, the losses, and of course the accusations and the salt pouring from the Tories during all this. And of course, if anyone has any intention, of course, of launching more probable rebellions, I don't know. We'll see what Rishi Sunak's response to it was, of course. But until then, we'll see you all next week. Please do remember to click on the like, share, and leave a comment down to feed the algorithm as well. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, we'll see you all next time.